Let's make history.
Imagine members of your family going out to another land to work, to earn money, to bring back home, to support the family, and you never hear from them again. Heartbreaking story. This is what happened to many, many Puerto Ricans who were transported to work on Camp Bragg, which was a military site that the United States was building towards the end of World War I. They didn't speak any English, and when they arrived, the Spanish flu was in full swing, and many of them died, never to see their families again, and their families never hearing from them again. So some of the tombstones don't even have a name. They just say unknown. For this third day of Black History Month, we want to honor those Puerto Ricans, who many of which were straight up black, and the ones who weren't had black roots anyway, which all Puerto Ricans do, to varying degrees, of course. So we honor them for Black History Month, and we send our condolences to their families. Even though it's over 100 years later, they deserve to be recognized.
They came on a U.S. transport ship, the City of Savannah steamship, that was carrying supplies to San Juan for the military installation and then bringing these islanders back. So there were actual recruiters that were out there recruiting the laborers out of sugar plantations.
The experience of these workers in North Carolina was one of survival. The workers dealing with a change in climate, little medical attention, and only speaking Spanish. But back home, their families on the island were being impacted by natural disasters. An earthquake followed by a deadly tsunami. Meanwhile, some Puerto Rican workers fell ill to what was known as the Spanish flu, some even dying.
Some records indicate that there were 40 to 42 Puerto Ricans that died in that first month, like by the end of October.
With these workers getting sick, the language barrier did not allow them to understand what was going on, but nurses like Lena Jason served as translator. Jason was a daughter of a black Presbyterian minister who took his family to Puerto Rico to oversee missionary work.
Went to Wilmington and helped them for as long as they needed help, providing care, serving as a translator, which was huge for their, not only their well-being, but their morale too.
Not only did Jason help in this crisis, but also Henry Jackson Kivett and his family. The Kivett family offered the workers food and shelter on their farm where Camp Bragg was being built.
That family sort of witnessed the beginning of this impact of the flu,
which was death. The Kivett farm then becoming the burial ground for some of the Puerto Rican workers who died. The Army later purchasing that land, which is now the main post cemetery. The tragic event was only known to some. In December 1918, when the epidemic ended, some workers returned to the island.
Many of the islanders who just could simply never adjust and who had survived the flu just went back again on U.S. transport back to Puerto Rico.
But for those who didn't survive, their families had no information about their status.
And I think part of the tragedy was with these workers dying so quickly, it's not really clear who's keeping records of them, but who's notifying their families that they're not coming back.
Army Staff Sergeant Carlos Muñiz relates to the Puerto Rican workers. He too coming to the United States 23 years ago in search of a better life.
They came here for opportunities, maybe for help their families. And it's sad that they come in here and nobody remembers them.
And FYI, Fort Bragg was named after Braxton Bragg, who was a commander in the Mexican-American War. Now, he later went on to become a general on the side of the Confederacy during the American Civil War. And it was because of that that eventually the name was changed from Fort Bragg to Fort Liberty. And that was in 2021. As of today, in the 21st century, it is the largest military installation in the world. It's in North Carolina over by Fayetteville, where the famous rapper J. Cole is from.